Hello and welcome back to the Cheltenham Festival. We've now reached the third race, which is the 250. So we've got a couple of non-runners here. We'll go through the field. Number 2, Captain Teague. Number 3, Shigorin. Number 4, Dancing City. Number 5, Dripsy Moon. Number 6, Gidley Park. Number 7, High Class Hero. Number 8, Johnny Who. Number 9, Lecky Watson. Number 10, Readin Tommy Wrong. Number 11, Search for Glory. Number 13, Spread Boss Ted. Number 14, Stellar Story. And number 15, the Jukebox Man. And we've got two non-runners here, Butcher Hollow and Shannar Bob, leaving a field of 13. Well, I hope you've been following the tips today anyway. We started off in race 1 with Marsborough, and we had the first two home there with Cargisi, which I think they named it. And in the last race, believe this or not, the top selection Absurd came in, but I also had the second and the third and the fourth. And the first, second and third was my first three selections. And a huge TriCast there of £639.51 to a pound stake. So moving into our third race, our number 1 selection here is Captain Teague. So we'll go back into Betfair, and Captain Teague trading at the moment 8.6. The over round is 101.7, which is good. So Captain Teague there, 8.6 would require £11.63 stakes to return £100. Our second selection, Readin Tommy Wrong, is now trading at 9 to 4, 3.25. And a stake there of £30.77. And those two, well, that would return £100. And the stake so far is £42.40. We've only got £7.60 left. That one took a large chunk. And Dancing City is trading at 9.6. So we can't put £10.42 on that one. So we will put £7.60, and that brings that up to our allotted £50 stake. And the calculator out again for our third selection. Dancing City SP was 9.6 times 7.6 or £7.60 stake will return us nearly £73. So there's still a profit in that third horse, so it's definitely worth doing. And the other two in the race, which are Readin Tommy Wrong and Captain Teague, one of those two will return us £100. So the selections for race 3, Captain Teague, Readin Tommy Wrong, both will return 100, and Dancing City will still bring us a profit. So we've got 3 running for us in this race. We'll just move on to our next race after that, as we've got a few minutes. The 3:30 is the big race of the day, the Cheltenham Gold Cup. And just as we saw yesterday with the breaking news there that Hewitt was going to be a non-runner and everyone else is going to post, that leaves 11. £351,688 to winning connections, and a great race to look forward to there. But we won't spoil that. We'll come out of that one and we'll go back into the 250, which is the Albert Bartlett. I can remember bigger fields than this for the Albert Bartlett. Yeah. So yeah, if you was on both my selections today, then you'd have had a nice 6 to 1 winner in the first, which returned 8 on Betfair. And Absurd returned at 15.5. But if you'd have seen the video that I put out after that race, or before that race kicked off, we'd taken 21 Betfair SP, so it was backed in as it got towards the start. So let's see if we can get a treble off here and go 3 out of 3. But our profit now, as I say, it was £54 coming into today. We've won the first 2 races, so our profit on the whole of Cheltenham at the moment is £154. And let's hope we can just keep adding to that. So let's go over now to ITV. And we'll be back.
He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free.
Yeah, and we'll be back for the 3:30. I'll try and get back a little bit earlier so we can see the horses in the paddock. I'll come back about 3:15 or something for the big race. And now we're going to go over to ITV, so good luck with whatever you've backed here.
About stamina for Captain Teague and Readin Tommy Wrong, Gidley Park. Well, Willie Mullins probably has the same doubts for Readin Tommy Wrong. He did win at Naas on his last start, which is over 2 miles and 4 furlongs. It was that all so tell Daryl Jacob rode him. Now he does race like a horse that should get the trip. He settles and he's relaxed. He jumps fine, and even when he lands the odd time, you can see here Daryl has to squeeze him away from his hurdles to keep up with the faster 2.5 mile horses. Now he got a great ride from Daryl Jacob, who got into Paul Town and Slipstream on Eid Atlantique, and even at the last, when Eid Atlantique got away from the last hurdle quicker, Darrell was able to regather Readin Tommy Wrong and wear him down. He looks like he wants a trip, just like Captain Teague and Gidley Park, but who knows if he does.
You certainly know down here which horses can take pressure, because the noise from the crowd, you can see the packed grandstand behind, and all the jockeys here, you can see this side, that's Dancing City, Danny Mullins and Keegan Woods. You see Keelan just there on Jukebox Man. I think he's got a good chance. Young Sam Ewing. None of the jockeys, normally they're all yakking away and talking and asking each other what they're going to do. No one seemingly is chatting. This means so much. These are the races that can really change your career. And you can hear people in the crowd just shouting, there's mine, in the green, there's mine. Lovely, lovely shots down here. The atmosphere is absolutely extraordinary.
So the bookies will be desperate to get this favourite beaten. Will it happen, Mick?
No, Paul Townend, he's made a lot of correct decisions this week. I think he might have got it right here.
I suppose the concern is he was pretty unexpected when he won last time, 16-1. I'm not sure they were expecting him to beat their stablemate in Atlantique. But Captain Teague for me here, I just think Harry, although stamina is unknown, will just hold on, be really patient. He knows that Captain Teague doesn't do an awful lot in front. The fact that he races lazily will probably help.
Yeah, I've always said the horse that runner win the Challow Hurdle should be running in this race rather than in the 2.5 mile race. So yeah, I think Captain Teague and Johnny Hughes behind him that day, big each way chances. I also like Search for Glory each way. He ran the race last year, he pulled up, but he's won 3 times this year, and he's a 7-year-old, so he'll stay going in this ground.
Yes, there's one punt here 4 or 5 minutes ago and Dylan had 2,000 on Readin Tommy Wrong at 2-1. He should have waited because now you can see he's 9-4. He's very easy to back late on. Why is that, I wonder?
The positive one late on, the Jukebox Man, who was third in that Challow for Ben Pauling, is being backed.
When you watch him walk around the paddock, I would think it's the people who are here, Ed, because you watch him, he basically takes your eye out. He's a really good looking horse, big and strong, and like we said earlier, he should cope with conditions.
In the colours of there, number 15, a certain Harry Redknapp. Richard.
Yeah, and also maybe the support for the Jukebox Man. He's lining up towards the front. You get the overlap between the in-running markets on the exchanges as the running order becomes more established. Several who'd like to play in running can get out on the leaders more easily than those that are hostage to fortune, potentially at the back. It all depends how fast you go, of course. With the Jukebox Man under Keelan Woods lining up towards the head of affairs. They will be asked to take this shoulder. They've been waved off the rail. Yesterday we had trouble at this trip because we were going around the bend and the slightly bigger fields, they weren't straightened at the back before those at the front wanted to go. So hopefully everyone will be nice and quiet, soft ground, and they're off and racing here. So out in the lead is the Jukebox Man, who has the early advantage. Stellar Story in second place. In third, in the check colours, is Dancing City, ahead of Johnny Who with a very low head carriage, the McManus Silks. In fifth place is Search for Glory, in the maroon cap with a white star. Captain Teague, also a little keen in the early strides, of Shigarin racing in seventh. Readin Tommy Wrong is in the middle of the pack. Gidley Park, another who's a little bit keen early on, right at the back in the orange and maroon, alongside Lecky Watson, who's under restraint, and Spread Boss Ted. So second, the Jukebox Man it is, who's out in front, and they all take that perfectly okay. So the Jukebox Man round about 3 lengths clear. Dancing City on the outside of Stellar Story in the white cap, then Johnny Who in the hoops as we take flight number 3. And no great alarms over that either. So just settling down at a steady 25-26 miles an hour. And calling the tune is the Jukebox Man for Keelan Woods, leading by 3 lengths. In second, Dancing City on the outside of Stellar Story. Johnny Who is in 4th place early on. In 5th is Search for Glory, ahead of Captain Teague with, on the inside, Lecky Watson, Readin Tommy Wrong, who's in the two-tone green colours, the double green, just ahead of Shigarin as they reach the 4th flight. Lecky Watson, one from back. Gidley Park right into the bottom of it, right towards the rear, and the back marker now is High Class Hero. So quite a sedate beginning, as out in the lead, the Jukebox Man is maintaining an even gallop, leading by 4 lengths now from, in second place, Stellar Story. In third, a length away for Dancing City, with Johnny Who in 4th, Search for Glory in 5th, and Captain Teague in the blue and pink colours. Readin Tommy Wrong just ahead of, on the inside, Lecky Watson. On the outside is Chigarin, then Gidley Park, Dripsy Moon, and the back two are Spread Boss Ted, and last of all is High Class Hero. So, looking at the sectionals, you'll notice it depends on the terrain a little bit. They'll quicken up when they run downhill just because they'll go faster. Even if they're intending not to. There you go, 15.36. Once we level out, that probably will go back up again, as out in the lead. It is the Jukebox Man. Pops over in the lead. No one in that hurry in behind. They're all just keeping their station within second place Stellar Story. In third place is Dancing City. Johnny Who in 4th, as the pace does indeed just steady down. Captain T, a little bit keen through the first half of the race with Search for Glory. Towards the outside, Readin Tommy Wrong. Dripsy Moon, who's on the outer of the pale blue of Spread Boss Ted. Chigarin, Gidley Park, and at the back is High Class Hero. So out in front, the Jukebox Man's just being able to gather breather at about halfway. And leads by about 3 lengths. Heading towards the next flight of hurdles. And we're heading towards the halfway stage of this Albert Bartlett. Out in the lead, the Jukebox Man. Still by 2 to 3 lengths from Stellar Story in second, Dancing City and Johnny Who. They rise at the next flight of hurdles. Search for Glory, Captain T, Readin Tommy Wrong on the outside of Lecky Watson. And behind these is Dripsy Moon, Gidley Park still under restraint. And still towards the back of the pack. We have on the outside High Class Hero with Chigarin, Lecky Watson, and also right on the inner is Spread Boss Ted. So they'll turn away. Reach the halfway stage of this Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. They've been led to this point by the Jukebox Man, but the field are well bunched. Second place, the white cap of Stellar Story. Johnny Who, just a little bit lit up now in third. As they make their way down the side of the racecourse, that little descent has just fired a couple of them up. Dancing City in 4th place, Captain Teague on the inside. A Search for Glory. Readin Tommy Wrong is getting a little closer. Over in about 6th or 7th place at this stage. Chigarin, another one who's on the move, and just a few of them off what's been a steady gallop, just beginning to manoeuvre themselves a little bit closer here, as this is the 5th last. The Jukebox Man over in the lead. Rom in 2nd place, still that white cap of Stellar Story. Dancing City on the outside, Johnny Who on the inner. Readin Tommy Wrong has got closer in the double green. Then behind these is Search for Glory as they stepped over that flight. Lecky Watson trying to get closer. Gidley Park and Captain Teague in midfield. Then Shigarin, High Class Hero with Dripsy Moon. And still towards the inside is Spread Boss Ted. So they have 3 flights of hurdles to take. And just beginning to wind up the pace slightly out in the front. The Jukebox Man leads, pursued rather more earnestly now by the second horse Stellar Story. Johnny Who with Dancing City 3rd and 4th. Captain Teague from Search for Glory. Readin Tommy Wrong towards the outside. Then behind these is Lecky Watson, as a couple made a mistake over 3 out. One of those was Stellar Story. Johnny Who completed the demolition job of the flight of hurdles, and 2 flights still to take. The Jukebox Man under Keelan Woods has controlled this race to this point. Stellar Story in second, Johnny Who is third. third. Check colours at Dancing City, Readin Tommy Wrong on the outside of Search for Glory and Captain T, Gidley Park and Lecky Watson. Then Spread Boss Ted, who has 3 behind there. Chigger in High Class Hero and the outsider Dripsy Moon as they run downhill and just let out an inch of rain there. The Jukebox Man just begins to increase the tempo here. In second place is Stellar Story, Johnny Who in third, Dancing City, then Search for Glory. Reading Tommy Wrong bumped along in the green colours, just losing his place slightly here as the pace does lift as they race towards the second last. The Jukebox Man has the lead. The Jukebox Man is over from in second place Stellar Story. Johnny Who comes next with Dancing City, Search for Glory and Captain T. These 6 from Lecky Watson, Gidley Park is being ridden. Reading Tommy Wrong is well beaten here as they spin the final turn. The Jukebox Man continues to control affairs up the head of the pace. Leads from in second place Stellar Story, who's pursued him throughout. They've kicked on and at this stage have outpaced most. Spread Boss Ted, Dancing City, Lecky Watson, Search for Glory and Johnny Who. This is the last for the Jukebox Man, who is 3 to 4 lengths clear from Stellar Story. Dancing City grinding on, but down towards the last, the Jukebox Man has a big lead here. The Jukebox Man into the bottom of it. In second, Stellar Story lands steeply. Lecky Watson running on, but the Jukebox Man by 3 lengths. Not put to bed yet. Stellar Story is beginning to stay on. The Jukebox Man, Stellar Story is coming. The Jukebox Man all out. Stellar Story dives and snatches it maybe on the line. Stellar Story and Sam Ewing coming at the Jukebox Man. Dancing City, Spread Boss Ted, Lecky Watson and Gidley Park. The Jukebox Man got lonely late and I fear just on the line has dropped his head and been beaten. Last stride after 3 miles, Stellar Story has just got up to deprive Ben Pauling and Harry Redknapp of doubles. Only 2 horses ever involved. Dancing City third, Spread Boss Ted in fourth, and Lecky Watson controlled the race from the front. It looked as if Keelan Woods and the Jukebox Man had it in the bag, but eventually, when the music stopped, it was Stellar Story who had the prize, our biggest prize winner, I think, of the week.
Well, an upset there. Favourite was so disappointing, and it looked like Harry Redknapp was going to get a double, and you would have expected a shorter price to come and nail that on the line, not a big outsider. But yeah, as he was saying, Richard Holes there, that's what, 46 that's returned on Betfair. That's the biggest outsider here of the week, I think. So that is the 250. We didn't do any good there. I don't know where I gave it to come, mind you. Let's have a look. 8th, so I was nowhere near getting that one, to be honest. So that's the 250 all cleared up. And we'll be back for the next race, which will be the big one. That's the Gold Cup. I'll come back a little bit earlier for that, so we can see him maybe in the paddock or going down at least. Yep, and we'll be back for that. Okay then, I hope someone had that one out there.